So contrary to what I said earlier, I decided in the end to put hinges on this side of the body, and you can see the small brass screws that I've used to support the hinges. And then I decided what I'd do is I would put the whole car together, as you can see, all held together by masking tape, and check how fitting is going. And of course that reveals a whole host of issues. Not least is this gap that runs along here. This is a piece of 1.75mm timber, and as you can see, that slides in there nicely. It slides in that side nicely. These two components are supported here on this central rib and also off the radiator. And the other side is just the same. So in fact at the front it looks a little bit worse. So I've got this slightly less than 1.75 gap there. I've got a nice 1.75 gap there, and I've got an even bigger gap at the front. Now some of this can be offset when this is pulled down. You just see there, some of it will be offset a little bit as this sits better on this forward bulkhead. The front is slightly worse because it's probably not that visible, but that's my finger, and it's supposed to be, and this piece is supposed to be resting on the radiator, and it's clearly not, which explains part of the reason why it's sitting so high. So you can see there I've forced it in, and that has reduced the problem somewhat. And I've got a similar issue on the other side. So overall, I think my conclusion is this component, which is sitting, the bulkhead component, is sitting a little bit too high, and that needs to be addressed. And there are really only two ways to do it. One is to drop that bulkhead by about 1.5 millimeters, which is a little bit difficult because it actually slots into the chassis. So that would be quite a bit of work. Or the other alternative is actually to put packing pieces under here, which I'm not convinced about. So I guess I'm probably going to go down the first route and see whether I can actually lower this central component to eliminate this problem. Well, when I've had a little bit more thought about it, I'll get back to you and let you know what I decided to do. So, in the end, with regards to this front bulkhead, I actually decided that I would do the work necessary to take roughly 1.7 millimeters off it. There are actually the bulkhead, which rests on the body here, which needed to lose 1.7 millimeters. There's also another piece which is sitting inside, which lost 1.7 millimeters, and there's actually a slot in this bulkhead, and I've had to pull. I've milled 1.7 millimeters of that, so the whole piece, the whole component, has gone down 1.7 millimeters. So that's solved one problem. The other problem I had with the kit, you remember, is that this line went all the way along this gap, and I've been playing with the radiator. I'm just going to pull that forward. So I put the engine back in, I put the radiator back in, and I went to consult some slides that I've got that was written or prepared by somebody who's done a lot of work on Porsches. And so there's the body kind of sitting on, the bonnet sitting on, and as you can see, there's this big gap here because of course the front sits too high as well. And when you pull this isn't 100% right at the moment, but oops, get that. But when you put this on, you've got this gap which I have to address, and you can look at that gap. The body's not, everything's a bit loose at the moment because it's only taped on, but you can see that gap can be quite substantial. That's the gap there, which means this piece is too high. But there's an even bigger complication which revealed in these slides, and that's all to do with the radiator. So before I address the height of this component, I'm going to do another video, and the next video will be about the issues in and around the radiator in the car, and my chosen solution to how I'm going to address it.